Follow along as I show you my journey from raw, unfinished basement to completed home theater and everything it took to get there. The anatomy of my home theater from concept to completion. It's July 2018 and our new house is breaking ground. I have very specific requirements for how I want this home theater to turn out, and because of that, we are building the home with the basement unfinished. I've decided to finish the entire basement myself without the use of contractors, mainly to keep costs down, and secondly, I didn't trust the local builder to get it right. To begin, I created a set of guidelines on what an actual home theater is. It must be in a dedicated space and not a common area. Must have 100% light control, meaning no windows or outside light to interfere with the room. You must use a projector. The screen must be larger than 125 inches and should be cinema wide to support the most aspect ratios. Because I wanted the largest possible screen size that would fit, a 4K projector would be required. It would need lens shift and memory. 2 or more subwoofers. Dolby Atmos audio is a must, and because the space allowed it, I had to have at least 4 height channels, and a single AV receiver to power it all. I spent months looking at speakers and trying to settle on components, all while coming up with several budgets until I was sure of what I needed, or at least narrowed it down. I went with Klipsch for the entire home theater sound system, not only because it was some of the more affordable speakers out there, I knew I could power the entire audio system from a single AV receiver due to their higher sensitivity. What I bought was the RF73 tower for the front left and right channels, the RC64-3 for the center channel, the RB81 Series 2 bookshelf for the side and rear surround channels, and the CDT5800C Series 2 8-inch in-ceiling speaker for the 4 Atmos height channels. To save a few bucks, I went with a refurbished Denon AVR X6400H AV receiver. I haven't decided on the subwoofer yet, that will come later. I don't know if I'm going to buy them or build them, but either way, they have to be devastating. While there are several months of downtime waiting, I don't hesitate to use the architectural layout to begin conceptualizing this theater. The theater room shouldn't be any larger than necessary. With only me and my wife and the possibility of a few guests, my target dimensions are around 14 feet by 20 feet. Initially, I wanted an office and a media room close to the theater, so I can access everything without hassle. It took a couple of tries to feel good about the design. To maximize space, I'll have to travel through the theater room to get to the media room. Once I felt good about the rough draft, I created a 3D walkthrough to get a better feel of it. I knew the room would be all black with no distractions. I wasn't completely sold on red acoustic panels or where they would go. The screen will be acoustically transparent with the speaker stashed behind it. By the time I rendered this digital mock-up, I was almost certain to be building my own sonotube subs. You can see those behind the screen along with the Klipsch towers. From day one, I assumed the AV equipment would be under the stairwell to better use that area. Much later in the process, I realized that was a horrible idea. It would introduce glare and become a distraction. I wanted a black void for the screen to float in, and a flush-mounted AV rack next to the screen was cuckoo beans. This is my office and media room with a 9-channel Atmos gaming rig and an 85-inch 4K display. If there's enough interest, I can cover this build in a separate video. More likes and subs on my channel will get us there. This entire render was just a first concept. Very few of my original ideas made it into the real world, and you'll see that as the building progresses. Watch for part 2, because that's when the fun begins.